today's welcome to today's training or today's assignment solving here. I think that is the best way. Okay, so I decided to solve the assignment I gave you people the last time. So the assignment says you should write a Python script for a restaurant, and the restaurant has a menu, and it should also has food, has some registered customers and their password. So for a customer to access the food, you must register, you must give the password. After giving the password, then after giving the username, then you give the password. After giving the password, then the food items will then be displayed for him to select. Then he makes his own selection. So the essence of this is to test your conditional flow, is to test your understanding in conditional flow or a conditional execution or if statement. So basically that's what it is. So what you'll be doing here, we can use looping to do that. We can as well use only uh, if statement today, because that's what we have studied so far. So without not wasting time, let me go straight to it. So here, so the first thing here is, let's say, okay, let's welcome our customers. Let's say welcome to Noel restaurant. Restaurante. So okay, welcome. So what's the next thing? The next thing it says here, we have a restaurant and we have a menu. So let's give our menu here. We then put here, we have rice. We have the price of rice is 100. Let's say we have eggs. The price of egg is 50. Let's say here we have chicken. The price of chicken is 120. Let's say here we have fish pie. Let's make everything in. Let's start with capital letter. Okay, then we come here. And come here, we say, okay, fine. Let's say fish pie. Okay, what is the price for fish pie? Let's say it's 150. And what is the last one? The last one, let's say, is okay, let's say cake, as it's nothing, it's just coming to my head at the moment. So the price of cake, let's say, is 90, whatever. Okay, it could be in dollars, it could be in pounds, it could be in euros, it could be in naira, it could be in yen, or whatever currency you are, wherever you are. So now we have our menu. What's the next thing? So we have our registered customers. Let's say customers. So we have customers. Let's say we have Noel. Okay, the password for Noel is P1. Let's say here we have Mary. The password for Mary is P2. Let's say here we have John. The password for John is P3. Let's say we have Mike. The password for Mike is P4. And let's say we have Peter. Okay, Peter. We have for Peter, the password for Peter is P5. So we have the first. I've satisfied the first one. The restaurant has a menu. It has different food. Okay. Of course, the menu means different food anyway. This is tautology in English, so but let me remove it. Okay. So here, the customer must be your registered customer. Okay. So what's the next thing? The next one is if the customer is found, display the food type you have. Okay. The user selects the type of food he wants. Okay, so let's do it in easy way. So the first thing we do here is this. Let's put input here. Let's say username. Okay, input. Here we ask the customer to give us his username. Enter your username. Okay, username. Okay, now once the customer runs the program here, so let me run the code for those who are just coming for the first time or who we are just saying it. So here is, you can see here, enter your username. So let's say we have Noel there, the person puts Noel. At this point, whatever thing you put here is now saved into this variable here. So if I run it, nothing happens because there is no other action that will ask it to happen. So what's the next thing we do? So we then check if the username is indeed, if the user is indeed registered in our customers. So here we run here. If it's registered, we then say okay, fine, print yes. Yes, he registered. So, but if it's not, let's say else, it's not found there. Let's say, okay, what do you put? Not found. User not found. Let's say user not found. So let's run the code again. I hope you are getting it as you are doing so far. So here, what's the name of the user? Let's say the name of the user is Johnson. Okay, Johnson. So here we have Johnson, but in our record there is no Johnson. What happens? It says user not found. Okay, now let's put the one that we know. We have John there, so let's say type John. So he said yes, it's registered. So here this first part is we're getting it. So what's the next thing? We then say okay, fine, give us your username, your password. So give us your password. So password, we then put input password, enter your password, Okay, so that is entered. So if it is found, then how can you do that? How can you know if it's found or not? Because if you just said okay, if let me show you if you get, but this is not ideal, I will remove it anyway. If we say if password in customers, of course if it's correct it will print, but this is not right. But I will show you why I said it's not right. Let's say yes, yes, found. Okay, but if it's not found, what happens, let's give another else here and say not found, print not found. Okay, so here let's run the code. Okay, so what name do we use? Okay, let's say Noel. Here, what's the password for Noel? Is P1, but let's give it P5. Yes, there's P5 there. Okay, so it says not found. It says not found, P5 not found. Which one did you execute? Okay, so now it shows not found. But what if we then say customer dot values? Let's see again. Let's run the code. The first one says not found because it is not the key. So let me remove this again. Let me remove it and I explain to you what is happening here. So here, if whatever thing you put here would then be run through this place to check if it's found, if it's there. If it's there, then it will print yes, it's found. But since what you put here is the keys, I mean the values is what we are looking at, or what we are looking for. We are looking for this P1, P2, P3. So that's what we are looking, because this what is assumed to be the password. So whatever you put there, since it's not found in the keys, then it will say you know. But what if we then put dot values? If we then put dot values, it will say yes, but it's actually not correct. So let's run the code. Let's say Mary. Then let's say what's the password for Mary is P1, but let's give it P4. He said yes, found. But that is not what we want to do. We want to match each one of them with its own password. So here it's not correct like this, even though it will not give you an error. So how are we supposed to do that? So what we are supposed to do here is remove this one. We can then say if customer here, I hope you still remember how to access an element here. So you say customers, you put our square brackets. What are we looking for? We are looking for the value entered here, value that username is holding. So we pass username here. Since username is holding it, it's the same thing as we're looking for this. We can then say if it's the same thing as the password given to us here. But before I run the code, let me run this first one here so you get what I mean. Let's say here we have here customers. Then we put here, what is it called? Let's put John. If we put John, it will give us P3 as the value, because anytime you look for it, it will give you that. So it has given us P3. That's what we are looking for, but that is not what we want. So okay, fine, let's continue. Let me comment this. So here, so whatever thing we put here is now saved into this place. So the value is what we pass here. So you then compare whatever the value is with the password that it will display. So let's run the code again and say Mary. Okay, he said yes, it's found. Okay, give us your password. What's the password for Mary? P2. Let's put P3. Then he said not found. Okay, so let's run it again and give it the correct password. Let's say Mary. Okay, yes, it's found. And here the password for Mary is P2. Then he said yes, it's found. So with this is okay. So what's the next one? What did he say? What did the system say we should do? It says we should uh, if it's found, then display the food there. So we have username correct, we have password correct. So let's put let's show the customer our menu. Then you can then put here our menu here, menu dot what, because it's only the food item that you are showing, not the entire price. So what you then here, you then put here keys. So always remember to put the parentheses, because this is a method. So if we run the code here again, we run the code. Okay, what are we putting here? Let's say Noel. What's the password for Noel? P1. Okay, here, so it shows us the food items. So now we have it. For what the next thing here? So let's ask the customer to select food. Okay, input again. Put your food item here, enter, or select your food. Select the food you like, the food you like. Okay, and Then if it's found, then you display both uh, the price. You then put menu dot items. Okay, but what if the food is not found? Then you come to this place here. uh, Here, if it's not found, you already put it there, it will say food not found. Okay, let's put here food not found. Why? This is user not found. So let's run the code. First thing uh, first in here, let's make a mistake. Let's say no, Noella is not found. Here you say user not found. Okay, this is correct, working well. So the next thing again, we then say Noel, correct. What's the password? The password is P1. Then it shows us the price. It shows us the menu, the food item we have. Then you say, okay, select the food you want. Let's say we want egg. Okay, then it shows okay, there's a mistake here. We didn't put, that's what I was saying. Okay, so here we run the code again. I thought I did there. I thought I I put that. So let's run the code again. Here, enter your name, Noel. Okay, password. The password is what, P1. Then it shows us the menu. What's next in? We then put let's say we want egg. Then it shows us the price and the food item. So this is one way to do that. But this is actually long. It's long and it takes a lot of code, but it's actually the easiest to do. I hope and I believe you should be able to understand this. Okay, so let me refine it a bit. Let me make it a bit, just change the code a bit. So here, since um, let's ask the user to give us, let's call this one username, input here, enter password, enter username rather, username. Okay, okay, so what's the next one? Password, enter password, password one, input, enter your password. Okay, so what next? Then let then do the conditional statement here. Let's say if username here is found in customers and and customer of username here, username 1, because that's what we have there, is the same as password is given, password 1. Now I hope you understand what we are doing here. So what we are doing here is this password here, we are checking if it's here, if it's dead. Okay, fine. Now check the password like we did before there, um, like we did before here. Okay, yeah, I haven't removed it. So the same thing we are doing here is the same thing I'm doing here. So whatever the value is in this username here, username 1 is what we pass here, is the same thing as what we did here. Now if it's the same thing with whatever password the person gives, so the next thing we would now do is we then ask the person to okay, so what's the next thing? The next thing, if it's the same thing is correct, so we then display um, the food menu. So return here food dot keys, only the keys, then always put the method here. So this would display the food items. Then you can then ask um, the customer to select, use inputs to say, okay, select your food item or the food you want, enter the food, enter, select your food item here. So now if we put the food now, we can then check if the food is found in menu. So here we are just saying, okay, fine, if whatever food you put there is found there, what's next? Then display the food with the price. We then say menu dot items. Always don't forget to put parentheses. Oh, okay. So here, um, if by any chance what the person puts was not correct, as in the first name or the username or password are not correct, so what we can then put here, we put here else, and said, okay, fine, you know what, uh, user details not correct, user details not correct. Okay, so here, since the system says you should tell the system to do another one, so what you can do here is you can print here. Please notice where I am here. You can see this edge. So this is this if is for this else is for this if, this one is for this one here. So, but let me put this in a let me put an if statement. We'll come to it where we will not be using else all the time. So here we put then here and say print uh, food not found, not found, not found. Kindly please starts all over, starts all over. So here, if the food is not found, it will ask to do that again. If it's found, then it will get it. So let's run the code again. Here, it's then ask, okay, let's put username. What's the username? Let's say Noel. And then let's put wrong password 3. It said user details not found. That is here. The user details not found. But if you notice, it's asking enter your username. That's for this place now. So the system has reached there now. So let's execute that one. Correct. Okay, the correct. Enter your password P1. Enter the food you like. Let's say cake. So that's correct. Now let's run the code again. Okay, so we are running here. So this is where you are now. So it's at this place. So let's say Mary. Okay, password. What is the password for Mary? P2. Let's say P2. Then it shows the food item. So what are we supposed to do? Let's say we want rice. Okay, so it shows us the price of the food, and um, it shows us the price of the food and the items. So here is how it shows. But if it's that particular one you want to see, suppose you don't want to see everything, it's just that particular food item that you want to see. So what you then do is you comment this and then put here print here. What are we going to print? Menu. Okay, menu what? Let's put here our food one. So here, whatever the person puts here is saved here, and then we'll say, okay, fine, give us this food here. But the issue here is that it will give us only the price of this. So whatever thing it finds there, it will give us only the price of this. but what we want is to display the entire uh, food, so we can use this one here. Okay, I hope this is okay for you. If you have any challenge or you have anything you want to discuss, you can always reach out to me and we sort it out. Another way we can also use for loop to do that. Okay, let me just run the code again and do for loop. Since we have done that as well, so let me sub everything at once. So let's say since we have here, we have a username and we have password. So what we can then say for here x, and x should be the index position for x in customers here. So what's here? Let's print and see what it will give us. If we print x now, it will show us each item one after the other. Okay. So it's asking for name. Let's say Noel. Let's say P1 here. Then as you can see here, it prints the food item here. It prints the name rather. It prints the name of each one. So it's going through each of these. So what this is good, what for loop is doing now is iterating through each of these. So at every time, what it's doing is printing the keys of each of these. So now we then make another comparison. We then say if x is equals to the same thing as username 1 name here. So what's the next in here? Let's remove it and say okay fine, enter, give us password, or we can also put here as well. So it depends on you. Since we have this, we can say if okay, we can do this. If x here is equals to username and customer here, or username here is the same as password 2 here, the password 1. Okay, so we have username 1, not username. Okay, if it's the same there, so what should happen? Print or prints our food menu, or shows the food menu. So we then put menu dot keys. So what this will do is that if these two are correct, then it will print each of it one after the other. But if it's not correct, nothing will happen. So let's say Noel. So wrong password, we put password 3. So here it's not, nothing is happening here. So here you can see here detail is okay, it's coming down to this place. This one is being executed. So but let me remove the whole of this one so I can execute it again. I'll bring it back. So here let me run the code again. Meanwhile let me stop it, otherwise it will still give error. Okay, so run the code again. Let's say Noel, what's the password? Password 2, because there is nothing here, so it will not show anything here. So let's give it else here. Else is the negation of if statement. So we put here wrong user details. Okay, so let's run the code again. Okay, let's say Noel. Password is password 3. It says wrong user details. Now Let's then run it again to get the correct one. Enter Noel, then we then say Noel, password 1. Then it shows the food item here. Then we can then say, okay, fine, food 2. Okay, since it is there, since this is correct, we can also put here. Okay, it has to be correct, it has to be here. Since it's correct, we can then say impute, that is food 2, impute. Okay, then we then put food, select your food. Okay, then if it's there, if food 2 is in menu, okay, print food 2. If we print food 2, print food 2, print menu of print of food, whatever thing you put, food 2. So if we run the code, if it's correct, okay, Noel, okay, password 1, okay, select rice, okay, and it shows it gets executed, and this place, because it's top to bottom, this place gets executed. Once this place is done, it comes down to this place. So that's why this one is being executed. But don't worry about this. We can put something here, but let me kind of put it there, that'll make it not show. But okay, so it's showing 100, but that's not what we want to do. So what we want to do is to show, okay, fine, show the entire food menu dots items. Always remember to put the parentheses. Okay, what if the food is not found? Let's then put here else, food not found, food not found. Okay, so let's run the code again. We say Mary P2. Okay, shows there, select your food. Let's say egg. Okay, so it shows that. Now, because the user, okay, let me run this code again to show you something. So here, let's say John. Okay, what is the password for John P3? Okay, select food, you put rice. Notice I'm putting lowercase, but rice has uppercase, so Python is case sensitive. If you do this, it will give you give you food not found, even though it is there. So you can see here it's saying food not found.